Greetings, welcome to another video. This time it's a custom knife. So this knife itself is a custom built knife, and the builder came to us for a sheath for it. So one of the interesting details about this knife is its handle. It's super thick. It's like probably an inch thick. So making this sheath was, I did the standard method, but you know, it's like it needed to be thick, so I got the thickest leather I had, which was like 8 ounce or something. And I'm going to be putting I don't remember what it's called, the middle part where the knife fits in, so that it's got like a bolster of thickness. So that's what that is that I just cut. So basically it's just 4 parts, so it's pretty simple overall. You got the main body, which has the back, and then it folds over so that it can go so that your belt can go through it. And then the part that I'm dyeing now, that's like the front cover, and that's gonna go over the top of the cutout piece for thickness sake, and it also looks pretty cool, and it's, you know, luxurious and whatnot. And then the 4th piece is on the bottom left, and that's the little snap closing strap that will hold the knife in. And this knife needed a lot of help to stay in because of that thick handle, but we'll get to that at the end-ish of the video. You'll see I came up with an idea for that. So yeah, I'm dyeing all this gold brown, and some of the leather was darker than the other, but it ends up all balancing out. And you know, I cut out a little template for this knife. I used the classic template technique where you draw the knife and then you make yourself like a strap for the back, like where the handle will sit on top of your body and the belt will go through when it folds over. So I'm just awling out the main width, and then I was like, alright, well, let's go ahead and wax this stuff. So this waxed really nice because this leather, you know, every leather is different, every cow, but this leather was like super smooth, and it was not oily, and it was like a little waxy maybe, and so this just worked very well. Yeah, like the waxing process on this piece, you'll see it's like beautifully glossed. Doesn't happen all the time. That one's a bit more normal. Yeah, it was really great. So now with those ruler lines that I made for the width of this entire thing, I'm gonna go out and cut all the way down that line, and I have a general idea of where the flare outs go for where the knife's gonna actually sit in, and that's where I'm kind of curving it out to. So now we're gonna do a general idea of what I was talking about. So the knife, oh, never mind, sorry, we're actually skipping ahead here, and we are penciling in where the blade itself is sitting. Another interesting thing about this knife is the blade bottom, like when you hold it, there's like a cutout for your finger. You can kind of see that in the top left of the screen, and the blade kind of touches your finger. So that was another issue with designing this sheath. I mean, it had to sit deep enough that the blade wouldn't come out, but you still had to be able to grab it. So it was like a very minor amount of tolerance for the space available. And the strap that holds it in helped that a lot. So this bolstering thickness piece, I'm sure there's a name for that. That one, I ended up cutting it just to the edges of the blade because that was, and like just like an 1/8 of an inch more, because that was gonna be what would help protect your finger from grazing the blade while still being able to grab the handle. That in conjunction with the tightness of the strap that holds it in place. Okay, so what was going on there is I was making my stitch line, just making sure it fits around the blade, and I'm doing, you know, since this is so thick, there's no way I'm gonna be able to hammer these stitching forks through all this stuff. Might be able to do like a pricking fork method and then use the awl, but it's not really my style, so I ended up forking this part and then I fork the front as well, and the middle piece I think as well, but that one, you know, is pretty inconsequential how it looks because you'll never see that, but doing it on the front and the back, it made everything look pretty nice. So we're moving on here to constructing, so I'm putting some glue on the back piece, the main piece, and then the bolster piece. And the bolster piece, you may notice, is bigger than it needs to be right now, and that's because you should probably always oversize parts that are going to glue together so that you can cut off the excess instead of putting too little and then being like, okay, well, yeah, I guess I just gotta start again, because if you don't have enough, it's not really possible to add more. So yeah, I also put a little bit of dye on it so that maybe when I cut it, like, you know, just in case you wouldn't see any of the natural color, but that ended up being inconsequential, and I actually, there was so much excess that it ended up not even making a difference. But anyway, I was cutting off some of the excess here, and that's that really thick leather as well. And then I was like, wait a sec, no. So I realized I can use, you know, because of the height of the leather, it's more stable to have more of the leather on there for the punching process. It's kind of like if you have like a wine glass on top of a tiny saucer versus the same thing on top of a larger dinner plate. You got more stability. So anyway, after punching all those holes, then I cut off the rest of the excess. And then this is the top piece here. And so the top piece started out as this sort of off-cut rectangle. And then I traced with my awl a conservatively oversized shape of the general sheath tip, and we're gonna go ahead and attach that next. First, I'm gonna cut off the back part where the handle meets the blade. This is the part where the knife will enter into the sheath hole. I don't know what the terms are for all these things, man, but where it'll enter the sheath, you know? Okay. Now this here, we're gluing up that middle bolster part to the part that I was just trimming, the top part, tippy top. And I also realized that that's a corner, so we gotta edge that. So before the glue dried, I got on that. Or maybe it was after the glue dried. Who knows? It didn't really make a mess, so it was probably dry. Burnishing. Did a quick job of this because, you know, do want to get that on there while the glue is good. So quick burnish, ended up very nice. So I'm putting the knife in there just to kind of like see how this is all shaping up while I attach it to the glue. So there we go. That's the general shape without the knife. And now you know, we got to get those stitch holes transferred. So what I decided to do was use the awl, and I smack my awl. And I didn't do all the holes because I'm not using the awl for all the holes. I'm gonna use the fork again, like I said. So what I did was I went around like every 5th or 6th hole, because, you know, we have 5 prong forks for the stitching. So that just made it sure that I was able to align all the holes with each other. So there we go. This is the top now, and we're just going through them all. And I also remembered sort of the procedure that I did on the back, like 1 6 fork, 1 6 fork, and then 2 forks around the bend. You know what I'm saying? Like the prongs. Yeah. It's like when you do a gusset and then you count your stitch holes to match everything up. So here I took the awl and I went through every hole just to make sure that they line up correctly and just to clear any debris that may be there and make the hole nice. So now that that's done, now we can actually trim everything down to size on the edge. So you can see it's pretty thick. It ended up being like 3/8 of an inch thick, which is still like, look how thick that handle is, man. It's just, there's no solution, I don't think. I don't know, if you got an idea, let me know, but like, it's crazy how thick that handle is. So it kind of bends the leather on the looping part backwards, but that's just how it is. And then I realized, yeah, I didn't edge and burnish that pocket top because I didn't know exactly how it would fit. But thankfully, because the back leather was like a bendier piece, I was able to get in there. So everything's going to be dyed black on the edge, and there's a lot of coloring in to do. I decided to stop that because I realized I needed to color everything. So I wanted to make sure everything was ready to be assembled. So that's the strap that holds the handle, and I'm also going to be installing the rivets that hold the loop in a loop form. But before doing that, we do want to do the edge and dye stuff on the long part, because otherwise you're gonna have to do it with the loop, and then you can still do it, but it's just more difficult. I can't. So yeah, going around with the edger everywhere, and now we will finish our coloring in. This marker is an Angelus marker, which you dip. There's like inside the marker, there's like this dye foam holder that you soak in your dye for like a few seconds, and it wets the tip with the dye, and it lasts for a very long time. And obviously it's refillable, and you can put whatever dye color you want. Obviously black is probably the most used for edges, so mine's black. I don't usually do anything other than either natural or black, but those things are like $3, I think, maybe $5. It's a good purchase. Helps you not spill your dye onto the other parts of the piece or the underside. Okay, so here we are with the strap, and I'm gonna be installing the line 20s nickel color. And there it is after I riveted everything down. So the loop and then the strap are riveted, and you can see there my technique to help this knife stay in there. So the knife handle is sort of triangular because it was made to fit inside of the knuckles, but like on the inside of your hand, like kind of like a banana does. And so I reverse mimicked that, with those little leather pieces. So those are glued in, and it's like a triangle shape for the handle, so they hold the triangle shape when the strap is secured. So anyway, I stitched it all together, and this is pretty much what it ended up like. Nice gold brown with copper and nickel, and the nickel looks good with the knife. The copper kind of hides itself with the gold brown, and the strap that holds that knife in is really tight. I was really trying there, like really making sure it works, because if it didn't, I would have probably done it again. removed that and made a new strap, but it worked. So that I was happy with. So now we do have to burnish the dyed parts, the big fat part. I didn't do that yet. So here we go. And it's kind of nice when you get to burnish one of these fat parts, because like you can just go ham with the flat wood part. There it is, all done, and you can see how much that handle is pushing the rest of the sheath back, like after the blade part, just because of how thick it is. It's like, yeah, it's custom made though, so pretty cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something, or you enjoyed it, you know, just for the fun of it. And I would ask you to check out our website and subscribe and, you know, talk in the comments. But thanks for watching. See you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.